Welcome to the RC Retro channel. In this episode, we're going to look at the RC10 team car. In a prior video of mine, I took this apart, cleaned it, and put it back together. But for this video, it finally gets out on Harry's track to see what it can do. And I got to be totally honest with you, it did not go as smooth as I thought it was going to be. But you will see what I'm talking about in a little bit in the video footage. First, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the history of this RC10 team car. It was released in 1990, the same year as the Championship Edition. However, this had some notable or significant improvements to it. First of which is the stealth transmission. You know, many people don't realize that the Championship Edition did not come originally with the stealth transmission. The first generation Championship Edition still had the 6-gear transmission, just like the original RC10. It was actually the team car that had the stealth transmission. Also, the new Viper body was included, as well as the anodized Teflon-coated shocks. A major change that you could see right away is that it does not have the gold pan chassis. This has the black pan chassis on here as well. And it did share the TQ Narby tires with the Championship Edition. So those are there. Now, much like the original RC10, is categorized into early RC10s with an Edinger and late RC10s with Cadillacs, and you could tell the difference with the certain parts on it. You could do the same with team cars. There's actually an early team car and a later team car. And the most easiest way to notice whether you have an early or a later team car is by the front shock towers. If you have the 4 holes or the 4 adjustment holes for the front shocks, that's an earlier team car. If you have one that has the 6 holes drilled out, that's a later team car. Also, you can just look at the ball cups on there as well, and the hex pattern on the ball cup is just in a small area on the earlier team cars. And if you have a later team car, the hex extends all the way through the ball cup. And that's just how you know if you have an early or a late team car. All right, just thought I'd share those fun facts with you. All right, let's get to the video footage, and you're going to see me cutting back to here just to talk to you a little bit about what's going on. So you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because there's quite a few situations that I had to deal with while on the track with this thing. So enjoy the video.
How's that one television at the left?
It's fucked up, man. That was bad. This guy's trying to wait over there and ambush me. So the video footage you just saw were just some highlights of the first few laps I took with this, and I could tell right away that the transmission on here was slipping. So off of the track it came into the garage, and I started playing around with the slipper clutch, and I kept going back and forth from the track to the garage and so forth, and I ended up tightening the slipper clutch all the way, and we're all sitting there, myself, Joe, and Harry, kind of scratching our heads like, what could it possibly be? And so we determined that it was basically the differential wasn't tightened all the way. So off came the tires, the rear dog bones, and you know, got the differential tightened up, and it made a world of difference. But just to play it safe, you know, the car still wasn't really performing, and it was probably also due to the fact that these tires weren't the greatest either. So Harry lent me some new wheels and tires, and it made a world of difference. However, I encountered another problem. Take a look. And so the next issue with this car was the steering. Going around some of the wider turns were not an issue whatsoever. Going around those hairpin turns, I couldn't make those very sharp turns. The steering radius on this thing sucked. I could only make those wide turns, and I kept hitting, you know, the black tubing on the side. And I couldn't understand why. So pulled the car off and had to play around with some of the settings on the remote. Got the car back on there, and I was actually standing on the track filming with my GoPro up here, and I could hear the car as it was steering was making a clicking noise, and soon I realized that the steering was rubbing up against the side of the body and wasn't getting full range of motion. So I actually had to cut away part of the body over here so that the steering can all the way extend, and that seemed to do the trick. So on to the next issue. I know, that's what I'm saying. I can't run. Yeah.
The only good thing about that now is that.
No. First it was the transmission, then it was the steering, now it's overheating. This thing was on its second NIM battery and is running a Twister 13-turn motor and has a Taser ESC in here that says you could run up to a 12-turn. I got to keep in mind also it was very hot outside, so that could have been it. So off the track it came, and I put it in the garage and let it cool off for about a half an hour. And then the sun started to set, so it got a little cooler out. I busted in a new battery in there and put it back on the track to run it against the Ultima 2 and the Ultima RB. So let's see how it does.
Here we go. You ready? Go.
Damn it.
Right off the... Bunch of amateurs.
Can't make that turn. The blue and yellow stripe flag to Joe is left traffic. That's the traffic flag. Alright, now Joe, now really race me and hold up Ari. Okay. You like that body, right, Ari? No, I'm done. Oh, no, get off the wall.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God!
I officially lapped Harry. No. Okay, I passed you. Am I supposed to be helping you right now?
Yeah, you should have. Watch me.
I know for next time.
Get my lap back though. Come on, lead lap.
All I have to do is just keep up with you the entire time.
Still in the lead lap. Listen, all I know is no matter what, we're still coming third.
Listen, Joe, you gotta have high expectations, man. Talking to me?
No, you're in first.
No doubt. Sounds good.
I'm in third, but I'm creeping up on Joe, and I'm pulling away from Ari. There you go.
I think I overheated.
And so I started off strong. I mean, I was in the lead, until this thing overheated again. So, I mean, how many times can I say that I was actually in the lead? If you see any of my other videos, you know my driving skills aren't the greatest. So for me to be in the lead for a couple laps, that's an achievement in itself. So unfortunately, yes, it overheated again. So off the track it came, and I came in last place. No biggie. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. But just to let you know that there is more footage, because I got this back out on my friend's track the following weekend, and was able to keep it cool and get a few laps in and get some really good quality footage. So enjoy.